Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Games and Things. Whether you're watching big games, and remember the SEC tournament's coming up, the NCAA tournament's coming up, or you're watching movies or just whatever you like to relax there in your home, the best way to do it is with new, comfortable, fantastic home theater seating. And nobody has a better selection than the folks at Games and Things. Get out and see Scott and Lisa Mellon this week in their showroom. It is a fun place to go. Or you can visit them, ourgameroom.com. Trust me, though, you won't believe their selection of home theater seating. Games and Things. All right, let's welcome in the next two members of our panel here to talk a little football with us today. David Ubben from The Athletic, thank you for joining us. And longtime sports writer Bob Hodge back with us today. Bob, you're so far away from me. Good to see you down there. Good to see you. I told you before the hand, no, don't lead any insurrections from the far right down there. All right. Hey, by the way, I mentioned, I think I said Saturday for the Tennessee-Florida game this week. That's actually next Sunday. That game starts at noon. Now, we'll be here doing our show. We'll give you a pregame of basketball leading up to it, and then you can flip over and watch basketball, or we'll stick around here and talk a little football. But next Sunday at noon is the Tennessee-Florida game. All right, on Friday, five-star quarterback Ty Simpson from Martin, Tennessee, disappointed UT fans by committing to Alabama rather than the team he supposedly grew up a fan of. The decision wasn't a surprise. Most figured it would be Bama or Clemson, especially once Jeremy Pruitt was fired. But Simpson said some things, said some nice things about Josh Heupel leading up to the day of the announcement. He took Zoom calls from him, let them recruit him. But it's what he told folks at Rivals after his announcement on Friday that ticked a few people off. Let's run through some of his quotes. First of all, he says, I honestly was a lean towards Tennessee through most of the recruiting process. I would say I thought I was going there because of the relationships I had there and how comfortable I was with the people there. Every time I walked up to Neyland Stadium, people screamed my name. I knew a lot of people there, and I knew I would have the chance to be able to put the in-state school back on the map. Things changed, though. Different things happened at Tennessee earlier this year, and I knew after praying about it that it wasn't God's plan for me to go there. See, God hates the Vols. All right, next quote from him. Here we go. I am already thinking about playing for the national championship, playing for the SEC championship, and it's just different in Alabama. I will get to play in the Iron Bowl against Tennessee on the third Saturday in October, and I'll be on the big stage every week. Interesting. You grew up a Tennessee fan, and you're looking forward to going up against Tennessee, okay? But this is the one
that's a big game.
Yeah, this is the one that stood out. Yeah. On February 1st, I knew it was Alabama for me. I looked hard at who I wanted to play for, blah, 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 on February 1st. Now, during his announcement, he said he made a decision the night before. And here's the question. This is what ticked a lot of people off. The other two statements, okay, but the last one, he strung them along. Now, he listened, but should he have told them, I'm out? Where are you guys on whether or not people have a right to be ticked at Ty Simpson? We'll start with you. You cover recruiting.
First of all, I would say no. Fans should not be ticked at Ty Simpson. Disappointed. It would be troubling if you're not disappointed that an in-state kid who liked Tennessee chose to go to Alabama. That should be disappointing. But remember also, he's a high school prospect here, and I think he was trying to do the nice thing. Which, if I were advising him, I would have said, don't put the Tennessee hat on the table. Just go ahead and announce ahead of time Tennessee's out of it, and at least let him down ahead of time. But there's no way to win if you're a Tennessee kid going to Alabama. So don't be mad at me. He's a high school prospect trying to make the best decision for his own life and for his own future.
All right, let me turn it on. Should Josh Heupel be upset?
Well, he's only known the kid, 2 months?
Yeah.
So It's not exactly like he's been spent 2-3 years recruiting the kid. I mean, I think the sort of the big thing is just, what if this was your kid? Tennessee, you might love Tennessee, but your kid, Tennessee doesn't exactly have a great track record of pumping out NFL quarterbacks in the last decade. Meanwhile, look at Alabama. You've got Tua. Yeah. You've got another one, Bryce Young, coming down the pipes. Mac Jones is probably going to be a top 15 pick. I mean, you're trying to do the best thing for your future, and I know you love Tennessee and all these things. And as good as it can be to be a VFL in Tennessee, being a first-round draft pick as an NFL quarterback is better. And you got a better shot of doing that at Alabama. So it is what it is.
Bob.
I got a little bit different take on that since his dad is a football coach.
Head coach at UT Martin.
Mm-hmm. I would have thought his dad would have said, look, let's go ahead and have a little bit more honesty in this process. Because how would it, and Martin recruits at a different level, obviously, than Tennessee, but they still recruit. They still go up against other schools. How would his dad have liked it for a recruit to come out and say, no, I'm not going to Martin, I'm going to UT Chattanooga, and I made that decision a month ago and wasted how many hours of your time? Maybe 2, maybe 10? that he could have been spending doing something else. So as the son of a football coach, I would have thought there would be a little bit more, okay, son, this is how I want these things handled. Why don't you handle this?
Well, the flip side of that, though, is like if you do that, then the criticism is, well, he didn't even give Tennessee a chance. He didn't even pay attention. I mean, I agree with Josh.
Well, it's kind of a no-win.
Yeah, if you're going to Alabama and you're from Tennessee and people have been putting their hopes in you for years, you can't win. And it is what it is. People are going to be mad. I'm sure he'll do
Oh,
fine
and I'm
at
not
Alabama.
saying people should be
No,
mad.
I'm not saying that,
No.
but I get, but like you can't win.
At the same
you know?
time, when you make a decision, be a man.
Well,
Tell people when you made a decision.
It is interesting that he said in his press conference, his announcement, he said, made the decision last night, that he immediately walks over to Rivals and says, yeah, I made it February 1st. Okay. Well, you're talking, what, an hour or two apart, maybe 10 minutes apart between the announcement
And I just
the
expect
interview?
a little bit more from a kid that's the son of a head football coach.
Yeah, and it should be known there was no surprise when he chose Alabama.
Right,
Like
yeah.
No.
Josh Heupel knew he was not announcing for Tennessee.
But he also wasted a lot of time still doing the Zoom calls with him, though. I wonder if he told Tennessee on February 1st, we're done.
Maybe
I
so,
don't
but
think so.
on the flip side, if they weren't doing the Zoom calls, Josh Heupel for the last month would have been criticized for not trying
Yes.
to get Ty Simpson.
That's true.
Let's take a look. This came out this week. 24/7, the national guys put out their transfer portal rankings. I just put the names there for the Tennessee guys in blue. 5 of the top 12 people available in the transfer portal, according to 24/7, are guys leaving Tennessee. I mean, you've got 2 guys going to Florida from LSU and Clemson. You got a Nebraska guy going to Kentucky, a Clemson guy to LSU. Georgia's losing a guy to Miami, but 5 guys leaving Tennessee. Thoughts?
Pipeline to the portal, baby.
That's right. It's not a pipeline to the NFL; it's a pipeline to
All
the
portal team. I mean,
Just
this was
You knew it was coming.
when it came like this, you would have liked your chances if you could maybe get a coach in there quicker. I think that aspect of it didn't help, but I mean, Jeremy Pruitt inspired a lot of loyalty, and those 2019 guys, and especially how it ended, some of the recruiting stuff that was going on. You can't blame the guys for wanting a fresh start.
I think it's a reflection on exactly how bad Jeremy Pruitt was as a coach. Look at the talent.
That's leaving.
If you judge it by schools where they're going to, it's a pretty bunch of good schools. And you got 3 wins out of guys going to 3 to Oklahoma and North Carolina and Miami. I mean, I think that's a bad reflection. Forget why they went, who they're, that sort of thing. 5 of your top 12.
And you got 3 wins out of it.
And you got
That's
3 wins out of it.
Good point. 15 seconds.
It represents the rebuilding job that Josh Heupel has, because a team that went 3-7 this past season, now you have to replace the most talented players, many of the most talented players, and that's without us mentioning Trey Smith, Bryce Thompson declaring for the draft, Josh Palmer. So some of your best players on the field have moved on and have moved on to other programs.
And if you're wondering where Hendon Hooker, the quarterback Tennessee guy from Virginia Tech, was on that list, he's not in their top 50. Doesn't mean he won't be good in Heupel's system, though. All right, when we come back, let's talk about Josh Heupel and how he can recruit against Alabama and other playoff teams. Let's discuss. Come on back on the Sports Source.